Makhiba Modupe, better known as the Lazy Chef, is rising to fame for her unique take on daily recipes which have been featured on a variety of blogs and local brands. The private chef from Botshabelo enjoys cooking homemade meals that are not only easy to make but also fun. She joins us this morning to share a bit more on how to ignite a spark to get you in front of your stove to cook that delicious meal. A very good morning to you, Lazy Chef. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, tell us about your name. How did that come about? I mean, Lazy Chef, what does it mean?
It actually came about, it was a name for my page on Instagram. It was meant for people who are lazy to cook and don't really have the time to stand in front of the stove the whole day, but they want nice meals. So I just said I'm going to make a page that's going to help them to make the yummy meals that they like, but in a quicker time.
So when you say those who are lazy to cook, generally what does that mean? I mean, what kind of meals do they normally cook or prefer to cook for them to be labeled as lazy chefs?
Bread and eggs for dinner. That's one of the meals, which I believe one shouldn't have, but
okay.
Yeah.
Are you talking about me, eh?
If the shoe fits.
Okay, I get that. So what kind of food do you generally cater?
I personally love traditional food, but I have been trained in making all kinds of food, all kinds of cuisines, but my first love and my go-to is traditional meals. And I also love making any meal that I can use leftovers with, because I hate food wastage. So it's either traditional food or food made with leftovers. And with leftovers, you never really know what you're making until the end, but it always tastes good.
Okay, so which traditional food in particular?
Samp.
Okay.
That is I could eat samp every day.
With
samp
what?
And tripe.
Samp and tripe, okay.
Yes.
What's the best way of cooking tripe?
Personally, I don't like it when it's complicated. So you cook your tripe with your water, salt. Maybe if you're feeling a little fancy, you can add spices. But I like it straightforward, salt and pepper and water. That's the way I had it when I was growing up. That's the way I enjoy it the most.
Well, some people prefer removing that layer of fat after cooking tripe. But some people prefer it with that fat. Where do you stand?
No fat.
No fat at all, okay.
Yes, no fat.
Okay, now Makhiba, do you still remember the moment you decided that you wanted to pursue cooking as a career? I mean, who had influence in your choice?
My grandmother mostly. I was raised by my grandmother, and she used to make the best meals ever. And I remember I was young. I think I was like 7. And my friends and I would play, it's called Hupesa. I don't know what it's called in English. It's called Hupesa, where we each bring like an ingredient from home, and then we go and we cook it outside. And that, I've been in love with food since then. Even when I got to matric, I didn't even have to think of other things that I wanted to do. I said I want to be a chef. I applied for that, and that's what I did.
And the first meal you prepared as a chef after you graduated for a client, what was that, and how did it go?
For a client, we made a dinner. I think it was a steak dinner.
Is it?
That I hosted with a friend of mine for a client, and in the beginning it was meant to be a birthday celebration, but at the end of the whole dinner, they ended up proposing because the food and the mood that was set was so perfect. So that's still one of my favorite stories to tell, because I believe my food was responsible for making people get engaged. That's how good it was. Yes.
And what kind of food gets the most likes and comments on your social media pages and platforms?
Traditional food. My favorite kind of food, actually. Yes.
Oh, okay. Is it? So yes. Which ones do they like? Because you mentioned that you love samp and tripe. Which other traditional foods do you prepare that tickles everybody's fancy?
I prepare stews, I prepare curries, my other favorite. I also prepare meals depending on, let's say we have a holiday, so I will structure my meals around those kind of holidays. If it's Easter, I do recipes around fish, which people will also really like. So that's how I structure them, and then, yeah.
Yeah, and I noticed with certain foods that you post, there's always a recipe clip included. Was there a demand from your followers to include it, or was it just simply your idea?
There was a demand because every time I post it, I either get calls or I get messages. How do I make this? Can I please have the recipe? So instead of always having to type out things the whole time, I just add the recipe to the post so that they have it. They can use it at home and try it out and enjoy it.
Now, for the lazy chefs, do you want to share, more food ideas or food preparation ideas as to which one I should go for? If I don't have the time, yet I want to eat a good meal, then one that is healthy.
One that is healthy. Pasta is your go-to. I know pasta doesn't sound like it's healthy, but now you get pastas that are grains and whole wheat that are good for you and are good for your gut. So my go-to is always pasta. You can put it on the stove, you add your cream or you add your tomatoes and you add your veggies, and that's a meal in less than 30 minutes and it tastes amazing.
Okay, so what would go with that pasta? Mince, perhaps?
Chicken. You can have chicken or you can have veggies. So you just fry your meat or you fry your veggies and you add your cooked pasta, and that's a meal.
Okay. Now, Makhiba, do you prefer dried spices or fresh herbs?
Fresh herbs. But it also depends what you're making with it. But my go-to is fresh herbs every day, any day. They make everything taste amazing and fresh.
Okay, and which is that fresh herb or maybe spice in your cabinet that you can't do without?
I love chives. They taste good in everything.
Okay.
That's my favorite. And which spice? I love anything with garlic. So maybe your garlic and herb spices. Yes, that is like my favorite. Yes.
Now, I'm told that one of your dreams is to help the less fortunate children get into the hospitality industry. Tell us more about the dream.
Hospitality fees are really expensive.
Yeah.
And it's not really that easy for everyone who comes from a disadvantaged background to get in and actually finish the course. So I would love to one day have either a school or a center where I can bring people in that can't really afford the whole course, and they can learn how to cook and get like a certification and help them get into the industry. That's what I would love to do.
Okay. So how do your fans connect with you?
They can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. It is @TheLazyChef_ZA. And today they can even go on because I'm going to be posting some amazing meals to celebrate Mandela Day.
Oh yes. Speaking of Mandela Day, what are we having today?
What are we having today? We're having samp, my favorite. And we're going to have some creamy chicken, moroho, and some veggies. I'm still going to look in the fridge to see what I can find and play around with the veggies. Okay, great stuff. Makhiba, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for having me.
Great stuff. Do have a great day now. We just spoke to Makhiba Modupe on her food page, which was mainly meant to help the lazy people find quicker ways to make their meals instead of being in the kitchen all day.